So hello everyone, I welcome you all to this amazing platform of Knowledge Planet powered by Physics Wallah. And this is your math educator Shivangi Rajput. And in this particular lecture that is of our ultimate recap, we are going to do the one short revision of the chapter that is pair of linear equations in two variables. So let's start with it, that what all do we have to discuss, what all are the topics that are supposed to be covered in this particular lecture. So let's start with it. So we are going to start with the introduction of the chapter, going forward with what are linear equations, then solutions of a linear equation, graph of a linear equation, and equations of lines parallel to your x-axis and y-axis. So let's start with the very first thing, that is the introduction to the chapter. Right. So when we talk about linear equations in two variables, let us see what does the name of the chapter means. Right. The name of the chapter simply means pair of linear equations in two variables. Right. So since now we have done our linear equation in one variables, and that was very easy to solve with, right? But when we have a pair of linear equation, what does pair means? That we will be having two equations to solve, right? Linear means what? That the degree of the expression, the degree of the polynomial or equation that is there in front of you is of the degree 1. That means the highest power of your variable will be 1. Equation means something when any expression is equated to a number, or let's supposedly say 0. So that forms equation where there comes an equal to sign in the expression. Then we have two variables, that is basically when the equations are there, they will be in two variables, that is x and y respectively. Right? So there will be two variables, that is x and y majorly. So basically this is what the meaning of the chapter is, that you will be having two equations in two variables, and that is a linear equation of degree 1. So let's start with it. What are linear equations? So when we talk about that the degree of the variable is supposedly 1, that means what? For example, we have equation 3x plus 2y equals to 6. Now in this particular equation, we can clearly see that this equation, the one variable which is present over here is x, right? The variable which is present over here, the first variable which is present over here is simply x. The next variable which is present over here is simply y, right? We have an equal to sign in the between, so it becomes an equation, and we can see that the degree of the polynomial, that is of the equation that is written in front of us, the degree of x is nothing but 1 and y also 1. So this is linear equation in two variables. Now when we have pair of linear equation, that simply means we might have one more equation, right, there in supposedly over here, or we can say like this. So basically now this two, if they are coming in one sum together, they forms linear equation in pair of linear equations in two variables. Right? Let us start with it. So basically, this is the general form. Also, let's talk about the general form. All right. So when we talk of the general form of any of the expression that is in front of us, so basically we can say that a1x plus b2y is equals to c1 b1y. And similarly, a2x plus b2y is equals to c2. Now this becomes what? The general formulation or the general equation of your pair of linear equations in two variables, where the variable remains same, that is x and y, but the value of the coefficients keeps on changing. Right? Now the question says that write each of the following equation in the form of ax plus by plus c. So we have to write the equation in the form of ax plus by plus c and indicate the value of a, b and c in each case. Let's do it. So we have to write in such a way that on the left hand side, right, on the left hand side of the equation, each and every term is there, and on the right hand side there is only 0. So what we can do, we can transfer this 4.37 to the right hand side, to the left hand side, students. So this becomes 2x plus 3y, and since this was positive 4.37, when we will transfer it to the other side, it will become negative 4.37 equivalent to 0. Now this is in the form of this, right? And whenever we denote the value of a, b and c, we have to take care that we have to take the negative sign wherever it is there. So the value of a is the coefficient of x. Now, what is the coefficient, students? Coefficient is nothing but the value, the number which is attached to the variable. Over here, the number which is attached to the variable x is 2. Over here, the number which is attached to the variable is 3. So, over here, the coefficient, that is the value of a is simply 2. The value of b is simply 3. And the value of c will be negative 4.37. We have to take the negative sign, right? The next question. X minus 4 equals to root 3y. The very first thing, transfer each and everything to the left hand side of the equation. So this minus root 3y will come over here. This will become x minus root 3y. I am also rearranging it, right, as per ax plus by. So after x, there should be a y term. So I have rearranged it as per the question. And minus 4 as it is equals to 0. Now the coefficient of x will be a, that is over here. The coefficient of x is nothing, so we will write 1. The coefficient of y, that is b, will be the number attached to y, and that is negative root 3, students. And the coefficient, that is the constant term, c, will be equivalent to negative 4. So we have to take the negative wherever it is there in the particular equation that is in front of us, right? The next part. 4 equals to 5x minus 3. We'll transfer everything on the left hand side. So this will become minus 5x, positive 3y, students, and plus 4 equivalent to 0. So the value of a becomes negative 5, the value of b becomes positive 3, and the value of c becomes what? Your simply, you can say 4. So wherever there is negative, we have taken the negative for writing a, b and c respectively. Alright, 2x is equals to y. Now the very first thing, transfer this y to the left hand side. So it will become 2x negative y. And since there is no constant term, right, there is no c value. So we will simply write our c as plus 0 equals to 0. And why we have written this plus 0? Because it will not change anything in the equation and also will make it easier for us to write down the value of your respective c. So over here we can say a is 2, students, b is negative 1 and c is equals to 0 since there is no constant term in this equation. The fifth part, x equals to negative 5. Now we can transfer this negative 5 to the left hand side, so it will become x. Since there is no y term, right, so we can simply write 0y. And this negative 5 when transferred become positive 5 equivalent to 0. So we can simply say that a is the coefficient of x, that is 1, b is the coefficient of y, that is 0, and c is the constant term, that is positive 5. So this is how we write down the value of a, b and c respectively. Y is equals to 2. Again the same thing, transfer this 2 to the left hand side. So this will become y minus 2 equals to 0. And since there is no x term in this equation, we can simply put a 0x and an addition sign. Right? So the value of a will simply turn out to be 1. The value of b will simply turn out to be positive 1. Sorry, the value of a will be 0 since there was no term. So 0, 1, and the value of c will turn out to be negative of 2. I hope this is clear with everyone. Let's move forward. The cost of a notebook, right? The cost of a notebook is twice the cost of a pen. All right. So every time we go to a stationery shop, we take pen, pencils, book and everything. So it is saying the cost of a notebook is twice the cost of a pen. So let us say, for example, the cost of the book, which is unknown to us, we can take that cost to be x rupees. So the very first thing we have to do is let the cost of one notebook is equals to rupees x, right? So what we have done, we have taken that let the cost of one notebook be rupees x, and we can say the other commodity that we have is a pen, students. So we can say that the cost of one pen B rupees. Why? Because of course both of them will come at a different price. For example, the notebook may come for rupees 20 and a pen might come for rupees 5. So both of them come for different amounts. So we can say that the price of only one notebook is X and the price of only one pen is Y. Now, according to question, the question says the cost of a notebook, that is X, is twice the cost of a pen. That means, for example, if the pen is of rupees 10, the notebook is of 20. For example, if the pen is of rupees 15, the notebook is for 30. For example, the notebook is X rupees, so it will be equal to twice the price of pen. That is X equivalent to 2Y. The next thing the statement says is write a linear equation in two variable to represent this statement. So this will be equals to X is equals to 2Y, and we can transfer this 2Y towards X. So it will become X minus 2Y equivalent to 0. So this will become our linear equation in two variables respectively, X and Y. Let's move forward. Solution of a linear equation. Right? Now, what is solution of a linear equation? For example, we have anything on the left hand side and any number is present on the right hand side of the equation. So, basically, those values of x and y which can actually, make that equation equivalent to the number. LHS equals to RHS, so that will be the solution. For example, if it is saying that x plus y is equals to 3, right? If I have this linear equation in two variables in front of me, that is x plus y equals to 3. Now, basically, I can take my x as 1 and y as 2 such that 1 plus 2 is equals to 3. Right, what I have done, I have taken my x equals to 1 and y equals to 2. Similarly, I can also take x is equals to 2 and y equals to 1. So this will become 2 plus 1, which is also equals to 3, and 3 is our right hand side. There are multiple such values. So basically, I can take my x. I can take my x as negative 5, or I can say I can take my x as 5 and I can take my y as negative 2, right? Such that x plus y, this means 5 plus minus 2 plus minus students, 5 minus 2 is equals to 3. So basically there are infinitely many. Yes, there are infinitely many values of x and y which I can put. Right, infinitely many values of x and y which I can put so that I can get the value of right hand side equivalent to left hand side. So such values of x and y which makes the equation left hand side equivalent to the right hand side, so those values are known as the solution of the linear equation. For example, in this case, this is the solution of the linear equation, right? This is also the solution of the linear equation and this is also the solution of the linear equation. So basically all these three values are forming what the solution of your linear equation. The next thing that we have, right, four different solution of x plus 2y equals to 6, right? What is the expression that is given to us? X plus 2y, students, is equivalent to 6. Now, how to find the values of respective x and y? So first of all, the very one thing is keep only one variable. See, since the equation that we have just solved was a bit easier one, but since the equations can be tricky as well, right? So what is the very first thing that you have to do is try to keep only one variable on the left hand side and shift everything to the right hand side. For example, I'm just keeping my x on the left hand side and shifting everything to the other side of the equation, right? So this will become x is equals to 6 minus 2y. So by doing this, what I have done is I have made the value of x come in the value of y. Now the next thing that we have to do is make a table, right? The next thing that we have to do is make a table, right, for four values. All right. So basically what we have to do here, we have to take the respective values of x and y. If I have to keep only one, right? So for whatever variable you have taken alone on the left hand side, let it be. Try keeping the values for the other one. For example, now the equation that I have is x equals to 6 minus 2y. Right? For suppose if I keep my x equals if I keep my y equals to 1, right? For the variable which is alone, we do not have to keep assumption for that number. We have to take whatever is on the right hand side. For suppose if I take my y as 1, so this will become x is equivalent to 6 minus 2 into 1. 6 minus 2 into 1 will give me what? 6 minus 2. That is equivalent to 4. Now this gives me what? If I kept my y as 1, I got my x as 4. And you can even put these values in this equation and it will satisfy, right? X is 4, so 4 plus 2 will give you 6, hence satisfied. For example, if I keep my y equals to 2, if I keep my y equals to 2, this will become x is equals to 6 minus 2 into 2. 6 minus 2 into 2, that is 6 minus 4, and the value of x comes out to be 2. Now, if I kept my y as 2, I got my x as 2 as well. Now, the third is, for example, if I keep my y equals to 3, all right, let's put it. So it will become x is equals to 6 minus 2 into 3 students. 2 into 3 is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. So when I kept my y equals to 3, I got my x as equivalent to 0. Now, for example, if I keep my y equals to 4, now this will become x is equals to 6 minus 2y, and the value of y is 4, that is 2 into 4, right? So this will become what? X is equivalent to 6 minus 8, and that is equals to negative 2. So when I kept my y as 4, I get the value of x as negative 2. So by keeping different values of x, I will be getting different values of respectively of for keeping values of y. I will be getting different values for x, and hence infinitely many solutions can be formed when even equation is given to us, right? Now all these numbers satisfies this equation that is given to us, right? So let's move forward to the next. Write two solutions. Now we have to find two solutions. Let's do it. So for example, over here it is 4x. Let's take this y over there and this will become 12 minus 3y. Now this is 4 over here in multiplication with the x. This will be 12 minus 3y divided by 4. Now, it is not mandatory to find the answers as integers or whole numbers or natural numbers. Your answer might come in fractional form as well, right? So, let us make a table now. This is the table that we get, right? Let's put the respective values of x and y. For example, if I keep my y equals to 1 students, what will I get? X is equals to 12 minus 3 into 1 divided by 4. Right? 12 minus 3 divided by 4. 12 minus 3 will give you 9 and it will become 9 by 4. So when I kept my y as 1, I get my x as 9 by 4. I hope this thing is clear. For example, if we keep our y as 2, so it becomes x is equals to 12 minus 3 into 2 divided by 4. This means 12 minus 3 into 2 is 6 by 4. That is 6 by 4, which is equals to 3 by 2. So when I kept my y as 2, I got my x as 3 by 2. So it is okay if we get the answers in fraction depending on the type of the equation that is given in the question. The next, 2x plus 5y equivalent to 0. Right? Simply, so it becomes what? 2x. Let's shift this 5y over here. It will become negative 5y and it will become x is equals to negative 5y divided by 2. Right? First case, let us put let us put our y equals to 1, or we can say y equals to 2, right? So this will become x is equals to negative 5 into 2 divided by 2, cancel, and it comes as negative 5. So this shows what? That if I keep the value of y simply as 2, I get my x as negative 5. For example, if we keep the value of y as negative 2, now this will be equivalent to x is equals to negative 5 into negative 2 divided by 2. 2 and 2 cancel. Negative 5 into negative 1 will give us what? Positive 5. And when we kept the y as negative, we got the x as positive 5. So this is how simply we can take out the values of our respective x and y when the equation is given to us. The next we have, which of the following options is true and why? Y equals to 3x plus 5 will have a unique solution, only two solutions, or infinitely many solutions. So students, as I have already told you, since there is a linear equation in two variables and we can find out infinitely many solutions for any linear equation that is given to us. So this option, that is third option of infinitely many solutions, will be correct for the answer. The next we have, check which of the following are the solutions of x minus 2y equals to 4 and which are not. So the equation that is given to us is x minus 2y equals to 4, and the values are, this is for x and this is for y. When we have ordered pair in the form of a comma b, a is for x and b is for y. So over here we can simply see that this is the value of x, this is the value of y, that is 0 minus 2, y is 2 and it is equal to 4, right? Minus 2 into 2 is minus 4 equals to 4, which is not true. Since the left hand side is not equal to the right hand side, when the given values are replaced or substituted, we will say that no, 0 comma 2 is not a solution of this equation, as after putting the values, the left hand side and the right hand sides are not equal. The next thing, 2 comma 0, let's put us, this means 2 minus 2 into 0 is equals to 4. 2 minus 0 is equals to 4. 2 equals to 4, which is not true. And since it is not true again, we will simply say that 2 is not equals to 4 and this 2 comma 0 is not the solution of the equation that is given to us. The next thing that we have, 4 comma 0. Let us try to substitute. That is x, that is 4 minus 2 into 0 will be equals to 4. 4 minus 0 equals to 4 and 4 is equals to 4. So yes, this ordered pair or these values of x and y are making left hand side and right hand side equal in this equation that is in front of us. So yes, we can say that 4 comma 0 is nothing but yes, the solution of the linear equation that is in front of us. The next, find the value of k. Now this type of questions also come where we have to find the value of the unknown variable, that is k, if x is equals to 2 and y equals to 1 in this particular equation that is in front of us, right? What we have to do, we just have to put the value of x and y and we will get straight away the value of k. As simple as that. Listen, the equation which is simply formed here is 2x plus 3y equals to k. Now what did I say? We have to replace the value of x and y to get the value of k. As simple as that. The value of x is given in the question as 2 and the value of y is given in the question as 1. Right? 2 into 2 is 4. 3 into 1 is 3 students, which is equals to k. So 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 is equals to k. So the value of your k comes out to be 7. As easy as that, right? Let's move forward. Now, graph of linear equations in two variables. So, since it is linear equation, students, all the equations that you will be having will be linear equations, and linear equations always have a straight line as graph. Linear equations always have a straight line graph. Basically, how do we plot a graph? Since I have already told you how to find out the solutions of a linear equation, and if you plot all those solutions on a graph paper, that will result into a simple straight line. If it is not resulting in a simple straight line, that simply means you have done something wrong in the particular question. So any equation, when you find out at least 3 solutions, right, you plot them on the graph paper, and that line with that 3 points will always be collinear. That is, all the points will lie on the same straight line. This is the graph. For example, let's take any of the question that we have done, right? So for example, the very first question, when we took the values of this x and y of x plus 2y equals to 6, right? We had x plus 2y equals to 6, and we find out multiple values of x and y. The values of x and y that we found out was simply your x and y, the values, yes, 412203, right? They were 412203. So 412203. So these were the values of respective x and y that we found out in the very first question which we did for finding out the points, right? Let us draw the graph for these points now. Let us draw the graph. All right. Let us take this as our x-axis, and let us take this as our y-axis. Simple, right? X-axis and y-axis. All right. Now let us mark 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let us mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, right? And for all the points that we have, see, why I insist for finding out at least 3 points. You might be wondering, ma'am, we can draw any line between 2 points, and if we take out 2 solutions, that will result a straight line. But get one thing, 2 points always result in a straight line, right? So wherever those 2 points are correct or not, you will always be getting a straight line, and you wouldn't be able to come through that whether the values that you have taken are correct or not. But when you take 3 values, and in case those 3 values are not coming on a single straight line, so you will be able to make a conclusion that no, you have done something wrong, and this is not the final answer which is there for the question. So let us plot 4 comma 1, that is x is 4, y is 1, over here is 4 comma 1. Next is 2 comma 2, x is 2, y is 2, this point. Then it's x is 0, y is 3, it is this point. So when we try to draw a single line through all the 3 points, we are able to draw a single line through the 3 points, which is a single line which is passing through all the 3 points that we have drawn. So yes, these solutions are correct, and this is how we get the answer. Now for your simplicity, just write down the values, that is 4 comma 1, this is 2 comma 2, and this is 0 comma 3, and on the downer part simply write down the equation of this line, that is x plus 2y equals to 6. Now this is how you plot the graph for any linear equation that is in front of you, right? Let's move forward. Now we have to plot the graph for x plus y equals to 4, right? So we have to plot the graph for x plus y equals to 4. Just give me a second. Let's plot x plus y equals to 4. First of all, what we have to do, we have to find out the solutions, right? The very first thing that we have to do is we have to find out the solution for this equation. Let's transfer this y with 4, so it will become x is equals to 4 minus y. All right, now the very first thing, put your y equivalent to 1, and when y is equivalent to 1, x is equals to 4 minus 1, which is equals to 3, right? So simply what we can do, we can take out the values of x and y that is there in front of us, right? This is x and y, and when we put our y as 1, we get x as 3, right? Let us put our y as 2. So this will become x is equals to 4 minus 2. X is equals to 2. So when I put my y as 2, I get my x as 2. Now the next, when I put as y as, simply I can say 0. You can put y as 0. So you will be getting x is equals to 4 minus 0, which is equals to 4. So these are the points that we have to plot on the graph. So let's start with it. Let's plot the points, right? So basically these are the lines that we have to take. This will be the respective x-axis and this will be the respective y-axis. Since we have taken all the values that are small, so let us put the small values. That is, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, right? The very first point that we have is simply 3, 1. That is x is 3, y is 1. So over here the point will lie. Next we have 2, 2. So 2 is here, 2 is here. This is where the point lies. And next we have is 4, 0. That is x is 4, y is 0. So the point will lie over here. Now when we try to draw a single straight line which passes through these 3 points. So yes, let us see. Yes, we are able to draw a single straight line that is passing through all the 3 points, students. And this is how we can plot the graph that is given to us for any of the equation that is in front of us. Right? So this is simple how to plot a graph. All right. The next question that is there in front of us is, given the points 1, 2, find the equation of a line which is lies. How many such equations are there? Now the question reversed itself. It is saying that the ordered pair which are given to us is 1, 2. 1, 2 here means that the value of x is 1 and the value of y is 2. Right? That the value of x is equals to 1 and the value of y is equals to 2. We have to find such an equation which satisfies this value. We can say what? That x plus y is equals to 3. If I keep my x as 1 and y as 2, so x plus y equals to 3 satisfies the equation. Right. I can also write down that 3x that is 3 into 1 minus y will give me 1. Also, if I keep my x as 1 and y as 2, so 3 minus 2 is equals to 1. Right. So basically from the points that are given to us, we can find out again infinitely many equations for this one point only which will satisfy the left hand side and right hand side. How we can do it, students? Just because if we have a single straight point, right? So multiple lines can pass through this one given point. Multiple lines can pass through this one given point, right? So all these lines which are passing through this one point will have this one point as their solution, right? So that's why even if one solution is given to you, there are infinitely many equations that you can form which will satisfy. See, if I write down that x minus y, that is 1 minus 2 is equals to minus 1. This will also satisfy the respective values of x and y that are given to us. So infinitely many equations again. For one equation, there are infinitely many solutions. For one solution, there are infinitely many equations. The next thing that we have is, if the point 3, 4 lies in the graph of the equation 3y equals to ax plus 7, find the value of a. Again, simple question. We just have to substitute the value of x and y and get the respective answer. That is, this will be the value of x, students, and this will be the value of y. Simply it is 3y equals to ax plus 7. We just have to substitute the value of x and y, nothing else in this question. So the value of y is simply 4 is equals to a into the value of x is 3 plus 7. 4 into 3 is 12. 3 into a is 3a plus 7. Let's shift the 7 here, it will become 12. Minus 7 is equivalent to 3a. 12 minus 7 gives you 5 equals to 3a, and the value of a comes out to be 5/3 students, right? So you can get a fractional value, no big deal in that. So the value of your A will turn out to be 5/3. I hope this question is clear with everyone. Alright, so let's see equations of line parallel to the x-axis and the y-axis. Let us do first thing first. First thing first, that is for the x-axis. Alright, for supposingly we have a graph, right? For supposingly we have a graph, this is the y-axis and this is the x-axis, right? For any line which is parallel to x-axis. Now, which one is x-axis, students? This one is x-axis, right? For any line which is parallel to x-axis will be either of the form this. It will be on the above side of the x-axis. This is also parallel to x-axis. This line is also parallel to x-axis and this line is also parallel to x-axis. Now, when I see that all these lines are parallel to x-axis, what would have been common in all the lines that are parallel to the x-axis? Either they are lying on the positive side or the negative side, right? So, for supposingly a line is parallel to x-axis, student, let us see how we can draw such a line, right? For example, if I take any equation of the form that is y equals to 3. For example, I have this equation as y equals to 3. What if I have to write this equation in two variables? I can add 0x in front of it. Now 0x plus y equals to 3. 0x plus y equals to 3. Right? Now let us find out the points. Right? Let us try to find out the points of the equation that is here. For supposingly, I can take this as y is equals to 3 minus 0x. Y is equals to 3 minus 0x. Right? So, okay, if I take my x as 1, this will give me y equals to 3 minus 0 into 1. 0 into 1 is 0. So, y will be equal to 3. For example, if I take my x equals to 2, this will become y equals to 3 minus 0 into 2. 3 minus 0, it will again become 3. For example, if I take my x equals to 3, students, what will happen? This will give me y equals to 3 minus 0 into 3. 0 into 3 will turn out to be 0 and it will be equals to y is equals to 3. So from here we can see that for whatever value we keep for x, because x is 0x, so that value will anyhow become 0 because 0 into any number is 0, right? And if we try plotting, these points on the number line, this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis, right? This is the origin 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, right? So basically when I plot all these points, x is 1, y is 3, right? When x is 1, y is 3. So this is the point, right? When we have x as 2, y as 3. So x as 2 and y is still 3, right? So it will be over here. It will be over here. Now I have my x as 3 and y is still 3. X is 3 and y is still 3. When my x will be 4, y will still be 3. So basically, students, when I draw a straight line passing through all these points, I can see that I get a line which is parallel to the x-axis, right? So any line which is parallel to x-axis will be of the form. See, the equation was y plus y equals to 3. The initial equation that we have was y is equals to 3. So basically any line which is parallel to x-axis will be of the form y equals to any number. Will be of the form y equals to any number, that is y equals to 2, y equals to 5, y equals to 7, and if it's on the negative side, so y equals to negative a or y equals to negative b. So any line, students, which is parallel to x-axis will be initially of the form y equals to something. Any line which is parallel to x-axis will have in the equation 0x. That means no value of x. Similar things goes for y-axis, students. For y-axis as well, if any line is parallel to y-axis, right? If any line is parallel to y-axis, they will be of the form x equals to a, x equals to any number, and for the negative side, x equals to any number, positive and negative respectively. So this is what we can say. If a line is parallel to x-axis, it will be of the form y equals to a, and if a line is parallel to the y-axis, it will be of the form to the x-axis y equals to a, and for the x-axis, for the y-axis, x equals to a will be the line which are parallel to your given line. The next thing, give the geometric representation of y equals to 3 in one variable. So y equals to 3 will remain as y equals to 3 in one variable, as the only variable that we have over here is simply y. The next thing that we have is, give the geometric representation of y equals to 3 in two variables. And when I have to write this equation in two variables, students, this will simply become 0x plus y equals to 3. So we just have to add this 0x to make this equation equivalent to 3. I hope this thing is clear with everyone. Let's jump up to a quick recap because this chapter is anyhow short and crisp. So let's do a quick recap of the chapter, students, that we have learned, what we have learned in this particular lecture. Let's start with it. The very first thing that we have done is basically to start with what are linear equation. What is linear equation in two variables, right? We have learned that linear is what? Any equation of degree 1. Degree 1 means the highest power of the variable that you have is 1. Equation means what? Wherever there is an equal to sign which is there in the equation, in the particular expression, that particular expression becomes an equation. The next thing that we have done in this particular chapter is to find out the solution of the linear equation. So basically, when we have a linear equation, we have a respective x left hand side and right hand side. So whatever values we keep for the x and y respectively, that will give the value that is equivalent to the next right hand side of the equation, right? For example, if we have x plus y equals to 5, so we can keep the value of x as 2 and the value of f of y as 3. So we can get 3 plus 2 as 5. So 2 comma 3 will become the solution of this linear equation. And hence we have learned that a linear equation can have infinitely many solutions for the particular equation that is there, right? The next thing that we have learned is to draw the graph of a linear equation. When we talk about the graph of a linear equation, that simply means what? Linear equation will always give a straight line as a graph. And how will we get that straight line? By using such solution, pair and plotting them on a graph paper to get the resultant value of your x and y, and to get the value and plot them on a paper, graph paper, and minimum 3 values students to take. Right. The next thing that we have learned is, for a pair of ordered pair, for x and y, how many equations can we have? So we can have infinitely many equations for any ordered pair that is given to us. After that, we learned if we have the value of x and y from any equation, how can we find out for any third variable, that is a and k? So we can find out the values. And last but not the least, we have learned about the lines which are parallel to x-axis, yes, and which are parallel to y-axis. So we have learned that for any line which we have, which will be parallel to your x-axis, right? For any line, if we have this as the graph, and for any line which is parallel to the x-axis, will be of the form y equals to a. That means y will be something. And for any line, students, which is parallel to your x-axis, to your y-axis, it will be of the form x is equals to any other number, that is b. right? So this is how we can find out that which line will be parallel to the other line that is given to us. So this was all about the chapter that is linear equations in two variables. I hope that each and every part, that is the graphical representation, finding out the solutions, and also to find out the unknown variable along with the lines parallel to x-axis and the lines parallel to y-axis, so we can find it out. So wherever there are line parallels to x and y axis, the formulation will always be given in one variable, that is as this part, right? So you always have to convert this one variable in two variables, and then you have to take this 0 to the other side so that you can find out the respective value of y while keeping the values for the x. I hope that each and everything is clear to you, and thank you so much people for attending the lecture. I'll see you in the very next one shot of your very next chapter. Till then, take care, have a great time ahead, and if you have any doubts in this chapter, please do mention them down in the comment section so that I can revert back to you. Thank you so much.